Nowadays, a lot of footballers get disrespected for different reasons, probably because social media's power is getting bigger and bigger. What's sad is that most of the time, these criticisms are not fair at all, and that's why today I'll talk about the most disrespected footballers in the past years. Trent Alexander-Arnold has been a world-class player for more than 6 years. Ever since Klopp promoted him to the first team, he became irreplaceable. We all know that he probably has the best crosses in the world right now, but he's getting criticized for a lot of his defending. Last season, Liverpool conceded over 60 goals, and some of them because Trent was caught off guard or because he was dribbled easily. After last season, there were a lot of people wondering why Trent is still in the starting 11, which is nonsense. I mean, yes, his defending is not that good, but he is still a very good player. Even if he gets dribbled once, he then puts 4 or 5 pinpoint crosses and helps the team score. He's not as good as Wan-Bissaka, for example, in 1v1 defending, but he's not that bad for him to be constantly disrespected by football fans. Erling Haaland is another Premier League player that gets massively disrespected. There are a lot of fans that say he can't be considered a world-class player because even though he scores lots of goals, most of them are from penalties, tap-ins, or rebounds. Okay, I agree that he scores most of his goals this way, but after all, this is his job. To stay in the box and wait for chances to come to him, and when he gets a chance, he rarely misses it. After all, it's not that easy to score over 50 goals in a calendar year or to break that many records in a season. I wonder if that disrespect cost him the Ballon d'Or or the FIFA Men's Best Player Award. What do you think? As I mentioned a striker and a defender, I'd like to move on by mentioning a midfielder. Let's keep it real. Bruno Fernandes is one of the best players in the Premier League and even one of the best in the world. The fact that Manchester United are a disaster, it doesn't mean that Bruno is a bad player. On the contrary, because the team is playing so bad, he has the opportunity to shine every single game. He is such a talented player, and I think that he can play in every team in Europe as a regular starter. That's because he's an unbelievable passer, has a great shot, a pretty good dribbling, is probably the best penalty taker in the world, can hit a good free kick, and most importantly, he's a natural leader. There are a lot of people saying that he doesn't deserve to be United's captain because he likes to dive from now and then, but I strongly disagree. When he has the impression that his team was wrong, he tries to do them justice and ask for explanations, and that's what a good captain does. He was the first player to win back-to-back Premier League Player of the Month awards since Ronaldo in the 2006-07 season, and is also the first player to win both Player of the Month and Goal of the Month awards in the same month. His only flaw is that he complains too much sometimes, but that doesn't mean that he needs to be called a bad player. The player that stopped Bruno on so many occasions to score a goal, Ederson, is another player that gets disrespected a lot. Some fans say that he's a top player just because Guardiola knows how to set up his team, and because of that, he doesn't need to take too many saves per game. These people talk like they didn't watch the UCL final, where Ederson was probably the best player on the pitch. When Guardiola's defense collapsed, he was the one that saved them. He made 5 incredible saves and really helped City lift the UCL and complete the treble. But people still said that he played awful. Courtois had similar stats in the final against Liverpool, and his performance was categorized as one of the best performances by a goalkeeper in UCL history. It's crazy how Ederson was not included in the Team of the Year for 2023, even though he conceded the least goals in both Premier League and UCL and completed the European treble. However, there is a keeper that's far more disrespected than Ederson, Keylor Navas. He was Real Madrid's keeper when they won the UCL 3 consecutive times, and how did they award him? By buying Courtois and putting him on the bench. He didn't want to make a big deal out of it and sat quietly waiting for his chance. When he noticed that this chance might not come, he moved to PSG where he played even better. After 2 seasons, even though he saved the club on so many occasions and even got PSG to the UCL final, the club brought in Donnarumma and benched Navas. Even though he showed everyone how good he is, he was never considered a world-class goalkeeper. Now at 37, he's rotting on PSG's bench and he only manages to play cup games against 3rd or 4th division clubs. That's sad. What's even sadder is the fact that Lisandro Martinez is getting disrespected because of his height. When he signed for United, everybody laughed. They said that at 1.75 meters, you can't be a defender in Premier League. He's one of the best players of his generation, and you rarely see him getting destroyed in the air. He even managed to score a header last season against Arsenal. He's something like Vidic, but shorter. There were so many games where he literally put his head in the opponent's boot. Just because he's short and Salah dribbled him once in a game where United looked like a third division club, people think they can disrespect him. That's not fair if you ask me. Just like the way James Ward-Prowse is treated. It's said that he isn't good enough for the England national team, the same team that has Calvin Phillips making the squad for every important game despite the fact that he played 10 games for City in 2 years. Ward-Prowse is such a great player that he was the first footballer to play every single minute in Prem for 2 consecutive seasons. And he's by far the best free kick taker in the league. At 29 years old, he's only 1 free kick goal behind David Beckham's Premier League tally. And since 2003, he has the best free kick conversion rate in the world. You can't say he isn't good enough for England's team. Come on, Southgate, include him in the team for the Euros. He really deserves it. Do you think there are more players that get highly disrespected? Tell me in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, a subscribe, and check out these videos.